It's another amazing morning right here in the city of Lagos. Good morning and welcome to the Traffic Report segment on EM Cafe, coming to you live from the studios of IATV. My name is Folashade Ogrinde. This morning we'll be taking a traffic report situation along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as well as the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. And helping us with this report this morning is Route Commander Florence Okwe of the FRSC, Ogun State Command. I believe she's on the line now. Good morning. Good morning, Route Commander Florence Okwe. Are you on the line? Well, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway will be in review this morning. And we know that Monday mornings are usually a bit, the traffic gridlock along these routes are usually on. But we are on to Route Commander Florence Okwe now. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, good morning, ma'am. How are you this morning? Can you hear me? Good morning. Well, Route Commander Florence Okwe, she's on the line, but I think we have a little bit of network issues. This morning, we'll be taking a review of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Well, it's a Monday morning, and we all know that most roads along in Nigeria are usually congested in the mornings, especially on the Monday. But we're getting back to Route Commander Florence Okwe now. We are trying to get back to her. I think we have little network issues. Good morning, Route Commander Florence Okwe. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, now please give us a traffic situation report along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, the traffic situation on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway this morning, inward Lagos, from Tokyo to Ibadan to Onigari, the traffic is free. Onigari and Lapako, please slow. Alapako Fido is also free, interchange is free. The traffic is free. Mowa is free. That's usually for there's no movement of vehicles due to the high volume of vehicles entering Lagos. And also the narrow lane at the diversion point. MSM is free. Official space and free to vehicular movement. Then Lagos-Ibadan section of the expressway, about Lagos, regular opening is free. So for MSM, traffic is free. But for his free, Mowe RCC is also free. Interchange is free. Videwo, the traffic is free. Alapako, Onigari, down to Tokyo to Ibadan, free to vehicular movement. Where all obstructions, no crash.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's head to the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. What exactly is the traffic situation along this route?
Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, area where we are facing slow movement. We have Iyanoloko, slow movement of vehicles. We wait for the practically very slow movement of vehicles due to the back portion of the road. Then the slow movement at Kola, Iyanostene, Owode is also slow movement, while other sections of the expressway remain free for now. No obstruction, no ROTC. FRSC advise motorists to drive cautiously, avoid dangerous driving, overspeeding, avoid driving under the influence of alcohol, road violations, use of speed belts. Call FRSC toll-free number 122 to report any crash or obstruction. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Route Commander Florence Okwe, for that report with regards to the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway and the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Thank you very much for coming this morning.
You're welcome.
That's all we can take on the traffic report segment on EM Cafe. Over now to newspaper review segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll join you shortly. Hi, good morning and welcome to the newspaper review segment on EM Cafe. This morning we're taking a review of the national dailies, the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, the Nigerian Tribune, the Vanguard and the Sun newspaper. My name is Folashade Ogrinde and with me in the studio is my colleague Faith. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
How was the weekend?
Well, very fine.
All right.
You're welcome to the newspaper review segment on EM Cafe. You're still in the Lagos studios and I'm Faith Agbetuya. I'll be reviewing the Daily Sun newspaper and the Guardian newspaper. I start off now with the Daily Sun newspaper. On that paper, I have rumbles over Ruga. Southern Middle Belt leaders allege plots to repeal amend Land Use Act. Niger Delta militant Ohanese youth won over implementation ultimatum, and have Arawa Forum demands a scheme's reintroduction. Those stories are on pages 5, 39 and 44 on the Daily Sun newspaper. More on that paper, lawyers to seek probe of Abiola's death at ICC. How we can overcome his death. That's coming from Shoyinka, and it's on page 3 of the Daily Sun newspaper. If you really want to see what Shoyinka said can help Nigeria to overcome the death of Abiola. And I have more on that paper. Nigeria targets $30 billion as Buhari signs AFCTA, African Free Trade Pact. That's on page 5 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Still on that paper, I have 2 die, 9 injured in multiple accidents on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And that's on page 40 on the Daily Sun newspaper. Article PDP call witnesses against Buhari today. That's on page 6 and page 7 on that paper. NCWS rejects Senator Abo's apology on page 4, page 44 on the Daily Sun newspaper. Well, that's it on the front page of the Daily Sun. We'll move on to what is reported on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
Right, the Punch is reporting this morning with regards to Ruga controversy. Defend your lands, Oni. Shoyinka tells Nigerians SMBLF alleges fresh plots, and with the right of federal government planning to repeal Land Use Act, says the Forum. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Just above the masthead, the story says investors inject $110 million into 44 Nigerian tech startups. That story is on page 31. Court orders federal government to publish details of runaway electricity contractors. That story is on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Astoria says Nigeria seeks fair trade as Buhari signs AFCFTA. That story is on page 33 of the Punch newspaper. There's a picture here of Shoyinka and a group of members of Women Arise and civil society groups laying a wreath to mark the 21st remembrance of Chief Moshood Abiola at his Ikeja residence in Lagos on Sunday. That story is on the front page of the Punch. Just below this picture, Astoria says 6 killed in fresh attack in Castina. That story is on page 7. Moving on, 8 Lagos pipeline explosion victims die in hospital. Lagos pastor arrested for raping impregnating teenager. That story is on page 4 and page 5 of the Punch newspaper. Stop inviting Olubadan high chiefs to same events, mortgages tell Makinde. That story is on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. And just beside the masthead, the Astoria says Edo to probe hospital contracts awarded by Oshomole. That story is on page 24 of the Punch. Buhari's education policy anti-masses, says ASU. That story is on page 10 of the Punch newspaper. Now we move on to The Guardian.
And The Guardian this morning has it that how to make Africa's free trade deal work for Nigeria. We have the writers to that story. Experts task government on infrastructure for comparative manufacturing. Buhari signs treaty, vows to sustain country's leadership role. You have with Nigeria's joining of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCTA, a deal zone. The country's chances of benefiting from the treaty could depend on how ingeniously it gets its economic acts together. That story continues on page 6 on the Guardian newspaper, And more on that paper, how intolerant Yoruba leaders broke up Afenifere by Oshoba. That's a Monday interview on page 5, page 36 and page 37 on the Guardian newspaper. Still on that paper, Shoyinka, others remember Abiola urged action against insecurity, poverty. That's on page 6. It's a news item on the Guardian newspaper. And have police arrest pastor, 3 others for alleged rape in Lagos. That's on page 12 on the Guardian newspaper. Still on the Guardian newspaper, have the Guardian's best online media website. Nira declares newspaper best, and all of that on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Now let's see what the Nigerian Tribune has on its front page this morning.
Nigerian Tribune is reporting this morning, Ruga, rise, defend your ancestral lands. Oni, Shoyinka tells Nigerians. with two riders which says internal colonialism must be rejected, they say. Federal government may repeal Land Use Act, Southern Middle Belt leaders allege. That story is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. The story says minority leadership leave reps alone, Clark tells PDP. That story is on page 12 of the Nigerian Tribune. JAMB to reconfirm biometrics of UTME candidates. That story is on page 5. Sister stabbed brother to death in Kano over choice of music. That story is on page 10 of the Nigerian Tribune. Just above the masthead, the story says Nigeria joins Africa's free trade area as Buhari signs AFCFTA agreement. With the rider promises quick ratifications, Nigeria's signing brings together all AU states, says Mohammed. That story is on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune and continued on page 10 of the same newspaper. Astoria says Avala Isilomo evicted from BB Niger House. That story is on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. Just beside a picture here of President Muhammadu Buhari signing the agreement establishing Africa Continental Free Trade Area, there's a story here that says Oyo government outgone in war of words over Council probe. That story is on page 39 of the Nigerian Tribune. Alleged rape, sheath your swords, Khan tells Fatoyinbo, Dakolo others. That story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. And finally, only 86 billion naira out of 2.07 trillion naira released to public universities in 4 years, says investigation. With the rider, ASU insists on 200 billion naira annual intervention, says education not Buhari's priority. That story is on page 34 and 39 of the Nigerian Tribune. And this story about ASU is coming, after, ASU kind of told the federal government that, they would go on strike if the, agreement is not fully implemented. And of course, everyone knows that education is the bedrock of a nation's success. We've seen countries like China moved, from, a developing nation to what it is now. And we've seen some Asian countries move from what they used to be to what they are now. And that's because they placed so much emphasis on education. So I think it's going to be a very good move if the federal government, could put, much more effort into education. And
coming up with good policies and programs that will change the face of Nigeria's education. All
right, let's move on now to business in the Guardian newspaper.
On the business world, we have market index slumps further on economy's negative sentiment. Cautions trading persisted on the equity sector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, extending its losing streak for the 5th consecutive sessions in the first trading week of the month of July. The prevailing negative sentiments may, however, be attributed to investors' apathy on the economy as players adopt the wait-and-see strategy due to accessed weak macroeconomic trends and policy uncertainty. That story is on page 23 of the Guardian newspaper. Well, that's it on the world of business. Let's go on to The Nation.
The Nation this morning is reporting with the story Soyinka Oni to Nigerians defend your ancestral lands. Monarch Noble Literate won against anarchy. That story is on the front page and continued on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Just above the masthead here says JAMB to try exam cheats impersonators. That story is on page 8 of the Nation. Clark urges PDP not to distract House. That story is on page 7 of the Nation newspaper. NSC expels 38 stockbroking firms. That story is on page 19. Free trade must be fair, says Buhari. That story is on page 6. Why I killed my girlfriend, says suspect. That story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. And Oyo Alcon flays SIEC solution. That story is on page 11 of the Nation newspaper. Another story here with regards to a story about Soyinka says we'll act our roles without fear or favor, says the Senate President Ahmed Lawan when he told ministers and departments and agencies at the upper legislative chamber would take its oversight role seriously and perform its assignment without fear or favor. That story is continued on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. I think it's a wrap on today's show.
Exactly. I think that's all we can take on the show this morning. Well, my name is Faith Agbetuya. Many thanks for coming on the show this morning. I'd like to have you tomorrow again.
Good Good morning and thank you for joining us. Over now to Ibadan for the rest of the program.